All right, guys, we are back. If you just want to type in what you're working on, that way I can kind of help you guys out. That's the whole purpose of today. I want to be able to help you guys out, make sure that you guys are getting directions on your stuff that you're building. Those of you who are jumping in a little later, quite all right. We're basically going to kind of pick up right where we left off before we started here. But at the end of the day, what we did in the beginning phase here, we just went over the foundational stuff. How to use ChatGPT in its basic sense. What is a prompt and the framework of a prompt. We went over the 4 pillars that pretty much make up a prompt. So 1 is providing it with a role, 2, giving it a task, 3, specifying a tone, and then 4, giving it a constraint, telling it what type of formatting do you want it to deliver the output in. Also, giving it the number of words you want. If you're looking to write a blog, one, you first want to start by looking at what your competitors are talking about. Relevancy is extremely important with content. You have to be looking at what are people talking about right now. Not a month ago, not a week ago. What are they talking about right now? Because the algorithms are picking up things that are relevant. And then secondary is frequency. How much are people talking about those things? And again, if one of your competitors has a blog that's 1,200 words, constraints is extremely important. Wouldn't you agree? If you could tell ChatGPT to write you a blog at 1,500 words, your blog obviously has more information. So that's kind of what we went over in the very beginning is how do we take a general response from ChatGPT and make it better? Quick recap, we go to the pencil of our previous chat and we make the edit there. So for instance, if I ask ChatGPT to give me the lesson breakdown the way that I want to see it, if ChatGPT came back and gave me a completely different breakdown and didn't give me what I wanted, instead of me coming here in this chat box and typing in, no, that's not what I wanted. Instead, I'm looking for this, this, and this. Don't do that. Here is where you should be making your correction. You would click your pencil and you would edit this with clearer instructions. Think about those 4 pillars. Are you providing it with a role? Context matters. So are you giving it a task? Are you giving it your tone? If it's not saying and doing what you say or do, don't just say, sound more like me, because ChatGPT has no clue what you sound like. So when you say sound more like me, it's going to say, sure, let me give it another shot. And it's going to give it another shot. But it's definitely not going to sound anything like you unless you tell it what you sound like. So right now, what I want to do is I want to go into content creation. Most people usually come in and they kind of think about what they want to do, social media being the catalyst. I want to launch my product on social media, give me 5 posts. Or they want to go ahead and do a radio commercial and they say, give me a radio ad. Or they want to put it in a store on a shelf and they say, give me a plan on how to get this into Walmart. But what we really need is a true launch plan. Not just a plan on how to launch it on social media, because social media is just one of the outlets. If you think of the word guerrilla marketing is basically putting your information everywhere and anywhere and then putting it out there 10 more times. That's what guerrilla marketing is. It's not just pick one platform and just focus on that one platform. Instagram is my platform. I'm going to focus on Instagram. Well, I will probably and arguably guarantee that most of the people listening to this are on the wrong platform. They're trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. You're great with Instagram, you got great followers, you got great engagement, but you're not monetizing. You're not seeing a single dollar from Instagram, even though you got 1 million followers, and every time you put out a post, you're getting tons of engagement, but you're not monetizing. Why? Because you're on the wrong platform. You're not on the platform you need to be on. Well, remember what I said before we went on break, education first. Well, the number 1 education platform on the planet, can anybody tell me what that is? What is the number 1 education platform on the planet? It's the 2nd largest search engine on the planet, YouTube. That is your platform. I will make that bold statement right now. That is your platform. If you are not on YouTube, you need to be on YouTube, because all of the content that you're building is YouTube worthy. It's content that will have an audience because people are actively looking to solve problems on YouTube. So that should be the platform that you guys should put your primary focus on, and you should use all other platforms. I am not saying not to use Instagram. I'm not saying not to use Facebook. Remember, the term guerrilla marketing is you put your content everywhere and then you multiply it by 10. That's exactly what we're going to do. But we're going to hyper focus our content creation around long form content on YouTube. We're going to take that long form content and we're going to chunk it down into short form, into small little 10, 15, 30-second clips. But we want to make a longer version of it so that it's educational. I want to go back into ChatGPT, and what I want you guys to do on the left-hand side is I want to start kind of exploring these GPTs. Now that you guys have a pretty good lay of the land, we're going to start digging a little deeper. So on the left-hand side, you see how it says GPTs right here on the left-hand side. Now mine looks a little different than yours, but by the end of today, yours is going to look just like mine. These are all GPTs that I built that do very specific things. They've been given very specific instructions, and because of the instructions that I've given them, they're now able to perform tasks with very little error. I showed you guys one earlier when we first started, but what I want to do is I wanted you to type my name in, Jeremy DeBarros, and you'll see all of these different GPTs, right? These are all the ones that are public facing. If you click show more, it will show you more. And the list is pretty long, so you probably have to click show more a couple of times. Each of these GPTs do something very, very different. I want to kind of go over the ones that I think will resonate the most with you guys so that you guys can use them. And then I also want to teach you how to build these so that you guys can replicate them, so you can have them yourselves. So again, all of the ones I've built, you guys are free to use. You guys can go in and use them at will. There's the tone analyzer, which I talked about earlier on in the call. The tone analyzer allows you to pretty much grab any text. It could be a book that you've written. It could be a blog post. It could be an email. It could be a comment that you made. It could be whatever you want. Grab your text, bring it into Tone Analyzer, and Tone Analyzer will go through that text. It will actually deliver you a prompt that you can use inside of ChatGPT to sound just like you, okay? That's what this Tone Analyzer does. SEO AEO Guru. So SEO is a term that's been around for a little while. And the next term here, AEO, it's answer engine optimization. So SEO is search engine optimization. So search engine optimization is Google, YouTube. Those have search engines and can be optimized, right? So that when people are searching for certain things, you get seen above other people. SEO has been around for a very long time, but I would like to pose a question for you guys. Imagine if you were able to rewind the hands of time and go back to day one when SEO first started, and you could know what you know today. How many of you would give your left arm for that, knowing what you know today about SEO? Well, that is where we are right now with AEO. AEO is answer engine optimization. Answer engine comes from all of these large language models like ChatGPT, Anthropic, or Claude, Gemini, which is Google's large language model. All these LLMs are answering questions all day long, and they're using certain sources of information to answer those questions. So how amazing would it be if you were the source of truth and ChatGPT was actually using your content as reference? How amazing would that be? Well, here's the beauty of it. If you use this GPT right here when you're creating your content, it will actually utilize both SEO and AEO strategies to allow you to game those algorithms and help you get your content seen above those who are not using AEO and SEO strategies. So that's what this one does. Badass cookbook. And again, I'm going through these because I want to plant some seeds in your heads. And I want you guys to start envisioning what your GPTs look like. What do you want to build? What do you want to work on? Digital Creator, this is for digital designs. This Content Strategy Pro, this one here is using a system called PLF, which is exactly what we are going to be using. So PLF stands for Product Launch Formula. So the 5 or 6 people that said they were just launching a new product and they were looking to create some content around their new product launch, you will want to use Content Strategy Pro because it is using all of the principles and elements of product launch formula, which is Jeff Walker's strategy. It's using every bit of it. It's using the pre-launch, it's using the launch phase, it's using a post-launch phase, it's creating content around all 3 phases with creating anticipation and awareness and all of the other marketing tactics that are needed. That's what this is doing. And we are going to use this one in a few minutes here to create some content together, okay? Super Prompt Generator. This one is the mother of all GPTs. What a super prompt is a high value asset building prompt, meaning instead of coming into ChatGPT and telling it to do step by step, one thing at a time, you can give ChatGPT a super prompt, which is the mother of all prompts. So I have a couple of different ones that I've built over the years: blood work analyzer, blood work analyzer, blood work interpreter. So I built a couple of them over the years because, again, as you build them, you're learning new things. You're feeding it new information. So over the years, I've developed these and made them better. And again, you're going to do the same with yours. So here's what I want you guys to do. I want you to come in here and I want you to click on Content Strategy Pro. So if you just type my name in and search my name and then go to this Content Strategy Pro, you're going to click into this and it's going to show you like a cool little colored brain. And it says Content Strategy Pro crafts PLF-based content strategies with live elements, gamifications, and psychological triggers. So when you build a GPT, you are the creator. Only you can make edits. So if I come here, I can edit the GPT. On your end, you cannot. The only thing you can do is keep it in the sidebar, but that's it. I'm going to click edit. And now this is the brains behind the scene. I want to show you guys how this actually works so you can kind of see it. This GPT is designed to help users create comprehensive and tailored content strategies for clients, incorporating Jeff Walker's product launch formula, the PLF methods, and advanced psychological triggers like storytelling, authority, anticipation, scarcity, and urgency. It focuses on distributing podcasts, blogs, emails, social media, website content, and strategic alignment to clients' goals and audience engagement. This includes multi-channel distribution, content scheduling, SEO optimization, and performance tracking. This is the mother of all mothers when it comes to content creation. One of the things I want to show you guys is while I'm back here, because I'm the creator, I can go ahead and change the name anytime I want. I can change the description whenever I want. I can add these conversation starters that are basically what you will click on whenever you come in. And then I can add files. You can give it case law, studies, testimonials, books that you've written. You can give it whatever you want to give it for a source of information that it can pull from. And then you can also give it instructions by clicking here where it says create. Welcome back. Is there anything content should be doing better? You see, it asks me what changes I want to make. So as users are in here using this, I can start getting feedback and coming in here and making certain adjustments and corrections so that it's running optimally. That's the training that we're talking about, right? Like you have to be training the machine. The biggest mistake I can honestly tell you that you could make is to have ChatGPT make a mistake when you're using your own GPT, having it make a mistake, and then you just copying it and fixing it without telling ChatGPT it made a mistake. This is like a kid. If your kid makes a mistake and you don't tell them, how can they correct it? So that's the same with this. As it's making mistakes, you need to come back here and say, I've noticed lately that as I'm doing X, this is happening. Let's correct it. Instead, let's do this. And you correct that behavior because then ChatGPT stops doing that for not just you, but for everybody using it. Okay, so I'm going to go back out of here. And in this chat box, what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in a prompt and I'm not going to copy paste. I'm just going to type it in. I am launching a new product called Belly Burn. This is a product to help with weight loss. I need a detailed launch plan. I currently use YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Also X. Might as well, right? How about this? I am also willing to do podcasts and webinars. Now, before you guys send this, and I know some of you guys probably already did, and I'll see a bunch of LOLs in here. Before you guys connect this, hit send on this, there's some things I want you to do. I first want you to give it as much context as you can about your products and services. So I am launching a new product, Belly Burn. This product's help people with weight loss. I am a weight loss clinic in Orlando, Florida, called Carefree, and my audience is primarily women 45 to 54. Send it. So I'm just giving a little bit more context. You guys can feel free to give as much context as you have. If you guys are launching a new product and it comes in 3 flavors, put the 3 flavors. If you're launching a product and it's already available online and you have a URL, give it the URL. If you're asking ChatGPT to help you, then you need to help it. Give it as much context as you can give it around the product services that you offer, who you are, and where you're out of, so it can utilize all of that in building your plan. So here we go. We have a launch phases. So extended pre-launch, psychological triggers. We're building authority. We're looking at this through the lens of free values and offers like, videos, podcasts, things of that nature that we can give away with anticipation building. So we're going to tease the audience with a new solution to solve a problem. Now, it's going to take you 1 to 2 weeks to create awareness and education. Why weight loss changes at 45, content, YouTube strategies, real reason you can't lose belly fat after 45. Hormones, weight gain, and how to reset after 45. That's a podcast. Then we're looking at shorts, reels for TikToks, and probably Instagram and Facebook. Use trends, also educational hooks. Email number 1, email number 2, Facebook and Instagram post. You're putting up testimonial, myths versus facts, Facebook Lives. That's the first 1 to 2 weeks. And that's pretty doable too. But keep in mind, you guys are controlling frequency. So maybe you're seeing patients every day and you don't have the capacity to do this much content. And you're like, well, maybe I can do the YouTube video, but the podcast, I don't think I can get done. Maybe that's the case. And if so, this is where you correct that. Don't put that in there as something you're willing to do if you're not willing to do it. And if ChatGPT suggests it, pull back from it. Say, no, I don't want to do that. I don't feel comfortable doing that because of X. The other thing is, some of you guys have this misconception that less is more, and you can post once a week or once a month, and you can put up a blog once a week, and you're doing your part. And I got to tell you that that is so far from the truth. Consistency is the only key. You will absolutely fall off the cliff if you post once a month or once a week. You will fall off the cliff. Matter of fact, the ideal number of posts is 40 to 50. Ideal. That means you're posting more than once a day. That is ideal for growth. Now, the sweet spot is between 54 and 62. That's the sweet spot. So that means you're posting almost twice a day. Now, I know for some of you guys, you just fell off your chairs, so I'll give you a moment to get back up. But I'm going to tell you, it's really not that hard. It really is not that hard. You can come up with 60 pieces of content in 10 minutes. It's not that hard. You can literally repost viral content, right? I can find 50 reels right now that are probably hot that I can literally just clip and add my little piece to, my little sticker of me just saying, whoa, or yes, agreeing to what they're saying, or no, not agreeing to what they're saying. But I can do that in seconds, and that's content. So if you're posting every day, your frequency is high. So this is actually a really good structure. Week 3, week 4, launch phase. Launch phase, 7 to 10 days. You want to open your cart, and then you want to max out your conversions and close out the cart, right? That's the whole purpose of your launch. So this is doing just that, creating psychological triggers, the core content. You're going to break it out by day now because you only have a 7-day to 10-day window to do your launch. So you're going to break it out into launches. You're going to build that anticipation. You're going to open your cart. You're going to blast off, and then you're going to shut it down. You're going to shut down the cart. I don't care if you got one sale. I don't care if you got one sale. If you got one sale in that 7 days, it's your fault. You either didn't create enough anticipation or awareness, you didn't do the pieces you were supposed to do above, which is why the launch didn't go according to plan. But here's the brilliant part. You did learn something. You learned that execution matters. You learned that all the steps above matter. So you go back to the drawing board and you go into a new execution plan. I'm launching for the second time now. I failed the first time, only got one sale, and here's why. You identify the problem, and now you go back for round 2, and you go back and create your next launch phase. So again, 3 phases of a launch: pre-launch, launch, close the cart, post-launch. And again, I don't care if you only had one sale. Your post-launch, we are unbelievably grateful for selling out. We have closed the carts as we have run out of inventory and have to go back in for a run. Once we get the next batch of inventory ready, we will open up the cart for a desired amount of time until it sells out again. We will let you know once inventory comes back online. If you would like to pre-register for the next round, please do so here. Launch is over. Now we go to post-launch phase and we go send our post-launch material. We track our results. We go back, we measure, rinse, repeat. Simple execution plan, and then it breaks it out for you and asks you, would you like me to put a 30-day content calendar together with email, social media posts, podcast scripts, webinar registrations? I can create the next step when you're ready. So my answer was yes, let's start with that 30-day content calendar, and let's break it down day by day and pieces of content needed. We will build the content together later. So I'm basically giving it like saying, hey, here's the importance. I don't need it all right now. I just need day by day. So it's starting July 1, extended pre-launch. Then we go into July 2, July 3, July 4, so on and so forth for the whole month of July. And if I slide to the right, we can see the pieces of content that we need. We need email, we need YouTube video, we need a Facebook and Instagram post, we need a reel for TikTok. You see this, guys? You see how powerful this is? It literally breaks it all down for you so there's no guessing. And now we can start building the content. Now, let's start with July 1. So here we go. Content types: email, YouTube video, Facebook, Instagram post, and then TikTok reel. Here's the email, the truth about midlife weight loss. Here's your subject lines. It gives you 2 of them for split testing. Here's your email copy outlines. You have a hook, you have the education, emphasis, tease, call to action, right? And now we're looking at the YouTube video. Here's the YouTube video. It gives you the intro, the body, the close, the call to action. Again, this is structure. Remember I said we'll build the content later. I'm looking at structure right now. So this is giving me the idea here to see it's a 5-minute YouTube video. So a 5-minute YouTube video on the real reason you can't lose belly fat after 45, right? 5-minute video. Instagram social media posts. She thought It was her metabolism. Concept number 3 is 3 things no one tells women about belly fat after 45. Script is 15 to 30 seconds, super short. Now, here's the brilliant part about this. This 5-minute video right here, this 5-minute video is going to turn into anywhere between 5 and 7 additional pieces of content that are going to be shorter. Because there's a tool that I'm going to show you guys this afternoon where you can go and drop in a long video, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, and it will instantly chop it up for you and bring it into smaller segments, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, where you could take one piece of content and turn it into 5 or 6 or 7 pieces. That's how you can post 45, 50, 60 times in a month without any problems, because one piece of content really is more than one piece of content. So now that I've got this kind of outline structure, that's again exactly what this is. It's an outline structure. If I'm okay with this structure, then I'm going to start building each piece of content. Great. Let's build out the email. You provided some good bullets. Now act as if you're an email marketer and create a high open rate, high click-through rate email copy. I want this email to be opened by many, not by the few. So I want to tell ChatGPT, I want to give it my expectation, tell it what I want in order for it to do what I need. So now it's giving me some additional content. It's giving me the actual body of the email. Watch video now. So it's giving me my placeholders for my video, and it's giving me the email copy. The next step is I've gone through the email. Now it's the YouTube video. So now it's giving me this. But before we go into the YouTube, I'm going to blow your mind real quick on something. And I want you guys to try this. I want you guys to test this right now. I want you to type this in. This seems very basic. You can do so much better. I want you to type that in because you want to push ChatGPT to its limit, challenge it. I recently was on a call with somebody who told me that something was impossible. They were a developer for a company who said that's not possible. I went into ChatGPT and I said, I have a challenge for you. I've been told something is impossible, but with the brilliant mind, I know we can put this together. Can you help me with this? And ChatGPT said, I'm up for the challenge. And it literally wrote the code to circumvent what they claimed to be impossible and made it very possible. So again, I love testing the limits and really pushing ChatGPT to advanced reasoning in the basic level. So I'm just going to say, hey, this is basic. You can do so much better. You're absolutely right. And thank you for calling that out. Let's level this up and craft a premium, psychologically layered email that resonates deeply with your core audience. How crazy is this now? Now we've got the email done. Let's move on to YouTube. I want to create a script written through the lens of a video content creator. I want the B-roll added to the script. Provide me with suggestions of images and backgrounds needed to create a viral video. So I'm giving it all the information I can up front, including the role, what I'm looking for it to do, who it's for, and at the very end, I'm giving it that twist of, hey, let's keep in mind, I'm trying to get this thing to go viral, right? So now let's take a look. Length, 5 to 6 minutes. Talking head with B-roll, on-screen text, and soft background music. Empathetic, real, reassuring, expert. Educate, validate, tease belly burn with a CTA to subscribe, watch next. Okay, let's take a look at this. So for those of you who do not know, what B-roll is what comes up on the screen when your face is not showing. So if you're talking about walking up the stairs at night feeling tired, yes, maybe it starts off with you talking about this, but then it switches to a woman walking up the stairs at night. That switching to that woman walking up the stairs that's not you, that's called B-roll, right? So what this is doing is suggesting B-roll footage for us. Here's the script. We have an opening hook, talking head, which is you, on camera, not natural lighting, warm setting. You're eating clean. You've cut carbs. You've even skipped wine for a whole week, but your belly won't budge. And at this point, you're starting to wonder, is it me? Is my body just broken? If this is you, stop right here because it's not your fault. I'm going to show you why. Pretty good opening. Pretty good hook. If you can't hook them in the first 15 seconds, they're gone. And that's fact. That's historical on any platform. You've got to hook them really in the first 3. So you got to get that hook out there as quick as you can. And this is getting it out in the first sentence, right? So now, B-roll suggestion. Woman looking at herself in the mirror, frowning. Unzipping jeans that won't fit. Typing, why can't I lose belly fat over 45 on a phone? These are all suggestions of B-roll. This is something a video editor that's editing your video would love to know. They would love to know, what do you want playing as B-roll while you're speaking and only sharing your face here and there, right? Let's go to the next section. The relatable story. Script. I work with women every day, most of them over 45, who tell me the same story. I've tried keto, fasting, smoothies, boot camp, nothing works anymore. They blame themselves, but the truth, your body is playing new rules. That definitely is. And no one gave you the manual. Whew, damn, that's pretty powerful, right? That's pretty damn powerful. B-roll, a clip of a woman trying to follow a diet plan at a kitchen counter, flashing images, keto, intermittent fasting, juicing, cleansing. All these things are popping up on the screen, right? Those are B-roll footages. Woman working out, woman with a workout towel, exhausted on her couch. These are great. Background ideas. Natural toned wellness office. Let's look at soft clinic background drop. Bookshelf plant. So this is just giving you an idea of like what you should have behind you in this shot. So if you're setting up a shot in your office or whatever, this just gives you an idea of what you can be kind of putting behind you. Okay. Next part goes to the second part, educational aha moments. Goes through the part of the script, gives you the B-roll suggestions. Then it goes through the script again for the fourth part. And then our call to action, continue the journey. If this resonates with you, hit that subscribe button. We're just getting started. This is the first video in a new series, and we'll show you exactly how to lose that stubborn belly fat after 45, safely, realistically, and permanently. And if you don't want a deep dive today, if you want a deep dive today, I said if you don't. If you want a deep dive today, the next video breaks down the top 3 mistakes I see women making that sabotage their metabolism after midlife. This is great. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. So that is that anticipation there, right? Creating that awareness and anticipation. So this is a really, really, really good script. But remember what I taught you guys earlier, right? Review this through the lens of my patient. Tell me some suggestions and objections they'll have. Well, that's what we want to test this against. Even though we're just getting started and this is just the tip of the needle, this is where we want to start testing through that prompt and making sure that it is in alignment with our audience. So we're going to type this in here right now. We're going to start to kind of really dial in who this messaging is for. So review this through the lens one of my patients and tell me what objections they will have, as well as any suggestions you can make. Boom, there's the prompt. For those of you who need it, review this through the lens of one of my patients. Tell me what objections they're going to have and any suggestions you may have to make this content better. And instead of better, I use the words go viral. Why not? Right? Give me some suggestions. What can I do to make this thing go viral? So here we go. Check this out. How cool is this? It named the avatar. So now, as I'm building out my content, I'm going to start referencing Susan. Because when you try to speak to everybody, you end up speaking to nobody. That is Proven, 100%. But when you focus on speaking to one person, what you start to realize is that your message starts resonating with many. So dial it into speaking to one person. And that one person should not be somebody that you know, like, and trust. It should be somebody you don't know, because the people you don't know are going to be brutally honest with you. The people you do know, unfortunately, they know you. So that I personally would not take any suggestions from any of my friends, any of my family members, because they love me and they're not going to want to hurt me. They're not going to tell me the truth. They're going to tell me what I want to hear, not what I need to hear. But a complete stranger, if I say, do you like this? There's no bias. They're going to tell me their honest opinion, whether they like it or not. So Susan is now our avatar. 52-year-old woman living in Orlando. She's tried keto, intermittent fasting, walking, diet pills. Her pain points are she feels her body changing. She feels invincible. She hates the huge emptiness. Imagine this. This is crazy. It's even given her an emotional state, hopeful but guarded. Motivation, wants to feel in control, fit into her clothes and feel sexy and confident again, right? This is really good stuff, guys. Now, here's our potential objections. This is just another sales video. I heard this before. She looks nothing like me. This is too long. Get to the point. Virality boosting suggestions. Micro storytelling. Introduce named frameworks. Add interactive elements. Hook with shock. And then visual viral triggers. So these are all really valid, really key points that are missing when you try to kind of steer ChatGPT into a certain direction. You always need to come back, and when you think you're great and you're like, okay, this is amazing stuff, when you start reading through it and you're like, wow, you want to really get wowed? Put that review this through the lens of and really get wowed. Because once you get the feedback, like it's given me here, I'm just going to put implement your suggestions and make this better. Now we're cooking with gas. We have an opening micro story with a hook and emotion. This is some really good stuff. If that's you, I made this for you. Now, remember before, try to speak to everybody. You speak to nobody. But this is a very, very bold statement. I made this for you. There's no better emotional string than talking directly to somebody, hitting an emotional string and talking to somebody. So let's go back down through this. Shocking stats and pattern interruptions, which this is how Facebook became a marketing empire, literally built in a marketing empire, is because of this. They created pattern. They got people to go in and mimic behavior. Start liking posts, start commenting, and start creating content. People started doing this to the tunes of millions of people. And now what they've realized is that when there's an interruption of pattern, we move them away and we can now start to pull them into other directions. So when imagine yourselves on Facebook or Instagram and you're going through and all of a sudden something catches you, pulls you directly out of the moment. You're into the swipe, 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 and something stops you. That's a pattern interruption. Whatever that was, it interrupted your pattern of swiping. That's what we're trying to do here with our content. When we're building content on purpose. We're not trying to stumble into a launch and hope that it succeeds. We're planning it. We are working the plan. And when the launch happens, we are successfully celebrating a successful launch because we've completed every phase and every step along the way.